you?
I'm doing
Oh,
well. How are you, Mr. J?
I'm good. We finally get to talk.
Yes, we do. So we are here.
So we are live. Welcome everybody, everyone who's watching. I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at JAI, the Gentleman on IG. It's the episode 9 after show, and I'm here with the one and the only Phyll the Prynce. How you doing?
I'm doing good. A-okay. Got the P on the head for Field the Brent.
How how are you feeling? How is your health? How is everything going? Let's start there.
Um, Post the turn of events last year, it's no secret I got in a really tragic accident at the beginning of the year last year. Um, and a couple of months later, after my body went out of shock, and I guess kind of like settled down, it decided, hey, I'm going to throw you into a stroke. Um, I went through a really, really tough year, but this year has been a really big turnaround for me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm no longer, I'm back in the gym. I'm back up and
I
running.
see your titties look all right.
I'm pumping them a little bit every day, 5 to 6
They
days.
not big as mine, but they look all right.
Give me some of yours, and I'll take some. I'll take some of
Mm-mm. I'm trying to get more. I'm trying to turn 220 into 225.
that. Well,
Yeah, I need all of mine.
you're solid. I'm trying to get there.
Sh- Thank you. I will take that as a compliment.
It
And
is
so this episode
so.
we saw your going away party. Where are you now? Like where are you back in Atlanta or are you still in Houston?
I guess the cat's out the bag. I am in the H um, area, and basically, I'm kind of don't think that I left Atlanta forever. I'm still a native of Atlanta. I just had to come back home and regroup and get myself together. And I think that it was best for me to come home for the support.
Okay. And so now that you are home, do you feel supported? Are you in good spirits? I guess is the question.
A lot of stuff has changed since I've been back home. A lot of stuff. A lot of things. I think that it was meant, excuse me, for me to actually come back home and actually regroup. Um, I've gotten a brand new vehicle. I've gotten a new gig. I am working on some new content. Um,
Are
I'm,
you back in the comment section?
the comment section, we had that had been a long trying time. The comment section is no longer something that I hold on to. Um,
Okay.
it wasn't because of me. It was stolen. It was a
Okay.
big fiasco in the web series reality world. I got interviewed thousands of times about it, and we finally got down to the bottom of it. And I explained what happened to the comment section.
There's a comment in right now. This is that got the looking emoji like they don't know the T. So you gonna have to give us some details.
Well, if anybody knows TTB Network, that story has unfolded on TTB Network. It's all over TTB Network. I actually was able to talk to the other co-host of the show that I actually brought onto the show. We actually had a back and forth, and we talked about it, and it came down to it that yes, it was true that my show was actually stolen. But I forgive that person. That has been forgiven. It has taught me a big lesson to when you have a creative idea and when there's ideas that you come up with to put paperwork into it. And that has been one of the biggest lessons that I
Trademark that shit.
trademark it, stamp it, DBA it, whatever you got to do. Anybody out there listening, if you got an idea or a creative idea and something that is yours, then you need to, yeah, trademark it, like he said, like Jay said.
So now there was a comment that says that y'all can't hear me. Let me know in the comments. Can you hear me now? Can y'all hear me better? Because I got a whole bunch of good questions I want to make sure y'all get.
How they don't hear you?
'Cause
I fine.
somebody said they can't hear me. So if you can hear me now, let me know in the comments. Hopefully they'll put that up so I can see. Okay, so you got a new car, you got a new gig, you're in Houston, you got a man?
I don't.
Are you looking for one?
I'm searching. I'm surfing. I'm searching around. It's been 7 years since I've actually been in my last relationship, so it's about around that time.
Do you feel like are you willing to put intention behind it, or are you just like tired of being single?
No, I'm open, and um
Thank you, Cortez.
I'm tired of being single.
You tired of being single? What does that mean?
Um, I want a partner who matches my energy and matches my vibe and can match
I
my flight.
mean, that's what we all want now.
You're
What
right.
is
Right. That's a
so?
that's a
I
necessity.
want that shit.
I mean, who doesn't, right? But it's not a necessity, it's a want. Um, but the pleasing part of it is that I'm getting older. I'm not getting any younger. I don't want to make my mother my ultimate beneficiary at the end of the day. I would love somebody to take on, um, that pressure in case something ever happens to me, to be able to say that they can call me their own and I can call them my own. It's just so many games being played these days. So you got to kind of watch who you talk to.
No. You the reality star. You gotta watch who you talk to. You
With this,
and I mean,
I'm,
I am on camera, but
I'm glad you
you
brought
a
that.
different level.
It's been hard. It's been hard. I don't. Okay, so when I approach people or when people approach me, and they ask me to tell them about myself, I don't throw that in there. I don't throw my public figure life in that at all. I don't.
Okay.
I don't quote my Instagrams. I don't quote my social medias because I want you to get to know me for the genuine person that I am. I don't want you to know me for being on the show or being in these interviews, or people knowing me or being a big extrovert. I want you to know me for who I am. I don't want you to know Phil the Prince first. I want you to know who Philip is.
Are those different people though?
It's not different people, but at the end of the day, people get a little side-eyed and they raise the brow when you say that you've been in some kind of entertainment field.
I usually get that when I tell people that when I use the term content creator because they would think I'm on OnlyFans.
See, when you use content creator, it does throw you to OnlyFans because I'm going to ask you if you got a Twitter, and I'm going to ask you if that Twitter is dark.
Of course, I got a Twitter, and of course it's dark. Like I ain't living under no rock. But this question says, "What's the biggest lesson you learned from On the Way Up?"
um, Follow your heart and don't trust everybody.
Don't trust everybody. Let's talk about that. Who did you learn not to trust?
Um, it's not that it's a specific person that I learned not to trust. It's just that there's different personalities, and being in a show, it makes you have a strong, tough skin, and everybody can't take everybody's personalities. So that goes from the show down to the supporters. Everybody is not going to accept you, and that's what I had to figure out. Everybody's not going to accept me. Everybody's not going to like me. When I first started season two, my very first time around, because before let's just get this clear. Before On the Way Up Atlanta, Phil the Prince was already a brand name. I was already a brand with the radio stations. I was already in kind of cahoots with Love and Hip Hop celebrities, hanging out and going out and doing things with them. So this is not just my first run in with entertainment industry. However, the deal is when you get into something like this, it was very brand new to me. It was very new and near to me, and a lot of people just can't sometimes take your personality, and it's okay. And I'm
You
fine with
wait, hold on, because you know who you sound like. You know who you remind me of?
who's that.
Phaedra Parks, her first season.
I love Phaedra.
On the reunion, that very first season she was on, she had that spat with Nene Leakes and she said, "This is your claim to fame. I was a lawyer before I became a housewife," and that's what you sound like. You sound you're very. Not that you throwing shade on anybody else like Phaedra was in that particular quote, but you are making it very clear that you were a thing before this show,
I was.
right?
I was. And
And so I do have a question, a follow up with that, because now I want to start going through some of the drama that we've seen on the season. So you and Trey were in that restaurant. Where did this beef come from between the two of y'all? It felt like it came out of nowhere.
So the beef with me and Trey, this is where it all started. It started last season. Season 1, when Trey was on the pilot season, me and him actually knew each other. We actually knew each other to where we actually used to text each other. We had each other's number. We still have each other's number. Apparently, I'm Jaheim 3.0 in his phone. Whatever.
Just FYI, I hate Jaheim the artist. Hate it. Put
I,
that woman first. I hate every song by Jaheim, but that's a totally different topic. But go ahead.
but me and Trey were never um not cool. I'm not gonna say we were friends, but we were never not cool. Now I will say that yes, I threw shade, which I admitted at the reunion last year. I did throw shade to Trey, and I did say things, but not. I don't think that it was also just shade. I was also a blunt person. I was asked things like, "What what?"
You were like you're not no more?
I mean, I'm still at stuff, but I think this season, I think I let off his neck a little bit. I don't think I was on his neck as much this season.
Okay.
Um,
So the specifically the restaurant scene, it was that a new beef or was that rehashing something from a previous season?
I'm a
Did it
person.
feel like it?
I'm a person, and I don't care what anybody has to say. Again, I don't care about people's opinions, and this is that back from the question of what On the Way Up Atlanta has taught me. I don't care what people's opinions are about me and what they feel. That is just me. I like to close a chapter or close a door and move it forward. But the way I like to do it is I like to talk about it and get it out in the open so that we can be on the same page and get it clear. So that restaurant scene was me basically trying to clear the air. It went nowhere. Okay. Didn't work. Fine. It's okay.
Did
And
so are y'all so do y'all talk now?
we don't. I couldn't tell
Do
you what
you
drawers he was wearing.
Well, I mean, I couldn't tell you what drawers he was wearing. I talked to him now.
I don't talk to him.
Do you have any intention of mending fences?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
You, s- I've learned since I've moved back home, and this is no shade to Trey. I wish him well. I hope he does the best for whatever he needs to do for his life. But leave people where they are. So if we can't come to a agreement with each other, and that's just what it is, that's just what it is. I'm not gonna push to force the issue. Me and Trey are not cool. We understand each other's goals and we understand each other's mindsets. But further than that, there's no friendship there. So there's never going to be one.
But you do realize that that in itself is shady.
That's not shady. That's just saying, I wish you well. And there's no reason for me to be fake about it because he's not going to be fake about it. He could tell you, me and him, if me and him were sitting in the same room right now, he could tell you because he's even been on my show, the comment section. I've even invited him on there and he's been on there with me. And he's even said there's some things that we haven't hashed out. And let's not get it twisted that me and Phyll are not cool. We're not friends. We still haven't had a conversation. And I feel like the table talk that we had was still not a conversation and we still didn't hash anything out. So we'll part ways.
I mean, that is very matter of fact, but the no shade, we ain't cool. We see each other.
I,
That's shady.
how is that shady if he doesn't if he if he's not going to be cool with me and I'm not going to be cool with him, there's no shade there. We just know that we're not going to be in that space together. And that's fine. I don't have to be in a space with Trey. We can still be in the same we can be in the same room. I don't have to speak to Trey, and Trey doesn't have to speak to me. And guess what? I will not feel any other kind of way the same way he won't. And that's being an adult, and that's growth. Because I could say him, say something to him out of order in person, and he could do the same thing back to me. But I don't even have.
Because now I got to call the gay card. Like, saying something to him is reading him. You could read him and he could read you about a whole bunch of shit. But if y'all are in the same room and you don't feel inclined to speak to somebody that you know, clearly you know, that is shady.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you like this, Jay. Last season, nobody knew, and I didn't have to explain myself to anybody. We used to go to a place in Atlanta called G's. Okay. And even though there was some stuff going on, even in between season 2, the end of season 2, and just going through the transition to season 3, which I wasn't even sure that I was gonna come back for season 3 through that transition. However, after that last reunion, y'all seen what happened at the last reunion. I still spoke to Trey in the rooms that I walked in. I still spoke to Trey. I told him hello. We even spoke to each other in those rooms
Right.
behind the scenes. That wasn't on camera. Nobody had to know all that. I didn't go to my social media and say, "Oh my God, I just saw Trey." We just spoke to each other. So we did speak to each other, and it was cordial. And we spoke and kept moving. There's no shade in that.
Right. There is no shade if you speak. But what I just said was, if for instance y'all are in the same room, you know him, he know you, and y'all cannot even bring yourself to say hello Phyll, hello Trey, that in itself is shady. Shade came from reading. Reading came first. That's what Paris Burner said.
One that's being shady then, or is both of us being shady?
I'm not talking to Trey. I'm talking to you.
You're talking to me, but it wouldn't it be shady if it's the same way, or if I spoke and they didn't speak back? It's still shady.
I don't dispute that. But again, I'm just saying, if you and I are in a
I
room
don't have
and
a.
I see
Let,
you, you see me, and we don't speak, that is shady.
let me
That's
get it.
that's the
I don't. I
definition
don't.
of shady.
I don't have a problem with speaking to Trey if we're in the same room. I can say
Oh,
hello.
okay.
I can say hello to Trey. I have no problem with that at all. I don't hate. I don't have hatred in my heart for anybody. So
Okay.
I Trey. That's fine. I don't have hatred in my heart for that guy. It's just we're not on the same page. We're not on the same level. So we're going to just go where we are and leave it where it's at. And we are just not cool like that. So it's fine.
Oh,
If walking the same
okay. I mean,
and
everything ain't for everybody. I totally get that.
right,
I totally get that. Everything ain't for everybody. Not
right.
everyone's personalities and vibes match. Totally get that. And I appreciate that if you walk into a room, you see Trey, you can speak to him and be like, "What up?" It
I
doesn't mean you're gonna be his friend,
no.
but I appreciate that.
I,
This comment says, "Is Trey just a hard person to be friends with? I've watched all seasons of On the Way Up, and every season somebody or multiple people has an issue with Trey." What's your opinion on that, Phyll?
okay, so a lot of people keep saying Trey is just Trey, and so I know that Mr. Shalaki has asked this question several times. This is what I'm gonna say about Trey. I will say that Trey um, does go down different avenues to find his niche, and when I say that, I mean that he goes down different avenues to find out what works for him, and that's fine. That's whether it be his style, his charisma, his career, whatever Trey is doing. That's fine. And you know what? I applaud him on finding out what works for Trey. And that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay for you to value yourself and say that I am this and I am that. That's fine. But
Mm-hmm.
we're on the way up Atlanta. So please don't make it seem like it's already a show called I Already Made It. That's the only problem. Because that's what it's giving. It's giving, I already made it. You're beneath the gum on the bottom of my shoe. That's the problem that everybody has because it's not giving what all that you are trying to give. So the thing about it is, it's fine for you to have that big confidence, and we're fine with that. But don't have so overconfidence that you start telling people that they're beneath you, and you're doing it behind the scenes, and then you get on camera and you try to play like, oh, well, no, I didn't say that. That's not what I meant, or that's not how I'm saying it. Or you start talking to people and condescending people. It's not fair. It's not fair because everybody has their accolades and everybody wants to be affirmated. That's fine. But don't say
Okay. So does Trey put on for the cameras?
Sometimes I feel like he does.
What does that look like in your experience?
In my experience, I feel like if we were behind, um, if we were behind the scenes, because me and Trey have been behind the scenes. Let's not get it twisted. We've been behind the scenes. We've talked to each other, and at some point there was stuff. I mean, even receipts came out last season about stuff that happened at the reunion, and we still denied it. So for me, it's like, okay, on camera, you talk all this big game and you say this stuff like, oh, I'm not desperate to want to sleep with him, and I'm not desperate to want to do this and do that. But then you turn around and on camera, you turn around and say, oh, well, um, that's what you say on camera. But behind the scenes, in my text messages, we read the text messages. It's right there. You invited me to your house. There was no third party involved for that. So that's what I mean by don't do things in front of the camera that you are doing different behind the scenes.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Because I'm really curious.
Mm-hmm.
Is this entertainer level bullshit or is this gay level bullshit?
No, it's neither. It's not entertainment nor is it gay level. It's our level. It's just how me and Trey have interacted with each other.
But I don't mean just Trey. Because Trey has had issue with you on one level or another. Trey has had issue with Brandon. The only person that seems like they are exempt from the drama are females on the cast and Mayday because he got a man. So I'm like, is this what it's like to be in entertainment in Atlanta, or is this what it's like just to be in gay culture in Atlanta?
No, I don't think it's neither one. I think that people need to stop stereotyping what it is to be like that in Atlanta because there's different cities that portray the same exact things. You can go to any. You can go to.
Deal with this in Houston?
You can go to.
Because
Yeah.
I ain't deal with this level of bullshit in Dallas.
Oh well, you ain't been. How long have you been in Dallas?
I lived in Dallas for 25 years.
Okay. Well, are you in Dallas now?
No, I'm in Decatur, Georgia.
Okay. Well, I can tell you like this: it's happening everywhere in every city that you go to. It may not have something. It may have not been something that you may have encountered or that you have ran into, but it happens in every city. It's not just Atlanta. And I've come to realize that moving out of Atlanta, I've come to realize that it's not just that.
Okay. So let me shift gears because the question that came up when I talked to Mayday after the last episode is he was very curious what made you decide Mayday and Brandon were the two people you wanted to confide in when you when you had your very heartfelt moment. It did look very heartfelt. Like you did said some very vulnerable stuff on that rooftop or wherever it was. But why Mayday and Brandon? Why those two?
Well, Brandon, and I want to get this clear too. I'm glad you asked me about that. Brandon, first of all, I want to say to this. Brandon and me did not know each other before this show like that. Okay, because Corey keeps spinning this narrative that I brought Brandon in here to argue with Trey, and then all these other people in the comments and all that kind of stuff say that I brought Brandon in to go against Trey. I didn't know Brandon. Okay, me and Brandon became very good friends on this show. So let me make that. So please trademark that, record that. Me and Brandon, good friends on the show. Okay, I didn't even know Brandon last year. Secondly,
production, did y'all hear that?
I just, matter of fact, when I walked into that holiday party, me and Brandon didn't even know each other as well as we know each other now. Me and Brandon are good friends now because we figured that we were both on the same page mindset wise. What happens between him, me, and Trey, I have my own beef with Trey, and he has his own beef with Trey. I don't put batteries in his back, okay? So the other thing, that being said, what was the question again?
Why Mayday and Brandon when you had that when you confided in them?
Genuine friend. Of course, he was going to be there. But Mayday, what made me come after Mayday is, I'm not going to discuss my business with somebody who doesn't care. And I don't really know Sonny and Ebony that well yet to really discuss business with. I don't really, of course, everybody knows me and Trey are not, we're on the outs. I don't know Komori like that. Um,
Why
Basically,
not DJ?
I don't know. The DJ and me have become closer during the season. Yes, I knew who DJ was, but we've become closer during the season. Um, Me and
Mr.
Nebraska.
Chalaki says, yeah, I thought it would have been Nebraska and Brandon.
I know you probably would have thought it would be Nebraska, but at the time, me and Nebraska were still also. Me and Nebraska and Brandon met each other on this show, and me and Nebraska and Brandon were getting closer together, and that's what made PNB. Phyll the Prynce, Nebraska, Brandon. But we were getting closer on the show. However, we still weren't that close for me to distribute that information yet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mayday, the reason why I came after Mayday is because I remember being, and this is not during filming or the season, this was before season 3. And we were out at G's again. It was on the sidewalk. And I remember
fucking G's.
right? I remember I remember Mayday and his boyfriend being out on the sidewalk, and he approached me and he saw me. And before he walked in G's, he said, "Hey, Phyll, what's up?" And I said, "Hey, what's up, Mayday?" And we had a conversation. He said, "Are you coming back to season 3?" And I said, "I don't know yet." And he said, "I really think you should consider coming back to the show. I really think that it would really help you a lot for growth, and I think that you can redeem yourself for the next season." I told him, "I'm really not sure." I said, "But I really appreciate you, Mayday, for reaching out to me and letting me know that." I felt like it was very genuine. I feel like Mayday is a very genuine person. So the reason why I invited Mayday is because me and Mayday have that, even though we don't talk every day, and I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like we're best friends and we're in la la land. I'm not going to pretend all that. But Mayday, I feel like, is a genuine person who's not going to judge me based off of what my situation was. So, and he was on the last season, and we still had rapport with each other, never had a problem with each other. So that's why I invited him to, you know.
Did you feel like judgment was kind of like, because it would be one thing if like you did some shit, but you had a stroke. That's not something you could have. It's not like you did something that said, let me, like, what would anyone have judged you for? That's the question. Like, in your head, where would the judgment have come had it been, somebody else that you confided that information in?
I don't think it's so much as judgment. I think it's so much, and when I say judgment, I think it's so much as um I had a stroke, and it's to the point where people take that and run with it. And by the time it gets to the 10th person, it could be something totally different. Um, and your information starts getting all over the place, and then this person takes it, and this person takes it, and this person takes it. Nobody knows. If you haven't been through a stroke before, I don't want to hear what you have to say. I don't. I don't care what you have to say about it, because
I'll co-sign on that.
Because
I have not been through that, so I could not imagine what that feels like, what having that experience looks like.
Even with your family seeing that you are a strong person and that you are a person that always holds your own, having a stroke, um, like this comment says, scared to be vulnerable. It's very hard to explain to people because you don't know what people are going to say to you. Like when I even told a couple of my family members, it was like, "Oh, but you just do too much." It wasn't
So,
a hugging fulfilled moment. It was like, "Oh, you doing too much. That's why you had a stroke."
okay, sidebar, real quick. I know we about to get deep, but when you did the hugging and you got that vein in your arm, I was like, okay, Phil. I see that. I see your little
Don't
bicep
start.
curls. I know you was getting serious, but literally that's what popped in my head. He was like, it wasn't a hugging feeling. And I was like, all right, bicep. I see you in your little white tee.
Don't do it.
Well, but now one thing I will say is, it's just for me, granted enough, I don't know what it's like to have a stroke, but it's like coming out. I'm gay every day, but it's certain people that I had a specific conversation with because I needed to be consoled. I needed to confide in them in that moment. And what I'm hearing you say is you felt like Mayday and Brandon were going to be able to give you
Support.
they were going to reflect back the energy you needed in that moment, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. And so everybody was offering you words of encouragement this last episode. This comment says, "Phyll low key sexy. He be trying to act like he bashful."
I'm okay. So, I am a person who I still can't. I still can't take. So, like, I've been out at bars.
Dick? You
I,
talking about dick?
no,
Okay. I mean, what can't you take?
I can't. I'm not a conceited person. So when I get that kind of stuff, I'm very appreciative of it. I'm very thankful for it. Um, I'm not a person who like, oh, thank you. I'm not. That's not me. I'm still very humble. And so like when I'm at like out at bars in Atlanta and people are like, oh my God, or I've been approached, are you Phyll the Prynce? I'm like, yeah, I'm Phyll the Prynce. And they're like, oh,
Is it weird? It's weird for me when people
it,
be like, "Are you Jay the Gentleman?"
it's very awkward. It puts you in a situation where you're paying for your drink. Somebody's saying, are you Phyll the Prynce? And you're like, yes. And they're like, oh my God, I love you. Oh my God. And it feels good, but at the same time, I don't want to be like, oh, thank you. No, oh no, stop it. That's not me. That's not my personality. So yeah, I may be a little
But I
bashful,
mean, you've been you for a whole lifetime. You ain't got accustomed to being cute.
but I've only been Phyll the Prynce since 2018. That's when the brand was built.
But I mean, you were still the person inside that brand. You ain't gotten accustomed to being attractive. You ain't ugly.
I have, but I don't take it. I don't take it as a conceited thing. I don't. I keep myself up for me.
I mean, ain't nobody calling you conceited. He just said you was cute. Simple as that.
Stop it, Jay. Stop it.
I mean, I'm just reading the comments as they pop up on the screen, and then he says, "And your humbleness is what makes you likable."
You know what? I love.
I think he
I
trying to
love.
get your number.
I love.
Mr. Shalaki, are you in Houston? Are you in A-Leave? You in off Westheimer? Where are you?
Stop it. Y'all are something else. Mr. Jalaki, I love your commentary. I love it. I love everything about it.
I think Phyll might be trying to get your number, Mr. Shalaki. Are you dating somebody?
I'm
You
not
said you were dating. Oh, okay. There you go. Here we go, right there.
searching. I'm in Google search right now.
Well, he's on YouTube in the comments, so y'all might as well just link up.
Maybe you don't want long distance.
What about that, Mr. Chalaki? Let us know in the comments. And while Mr. Chalaki is weighing in, so I do have one other question. If there was a season 4, would you be on it?
That I am really considering. And I'm very ping ponged about it right now. I'm not saying yes and I'm not saying no. The only reason is
Full disclosure, I don't know if there's a season 4. I'm not saying that, but I'm just
right.
asking, like, if there was.
If this was a hypothetical question of if it was a season 4, I'm not sure. The growth that I've had in the past year since I've been through my situation, the stroke, the wreck, things going on, and moving back home, my life has changed a lot. And I'm very blessed. And regardless of what you see on the show, that was filmed last year. So a lot has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So what you take on from who Phyll the Prynce was last year, people change, things change, life changes, and people work on themselves. And it's given me a lot of time to work on myself, work on my mindset, work on my goals. So people that sit there and comment about me and say things about me, I don't even read the comments anymore or whatever. But people,
But you used to be Mr. in the comment section, and you say you don't read the comments no more.
no, and I
You
know
know what that's called?
the,
That's
com-
called
the comment
growth.
section that ship has sailed, and I never even wanted to get on it again. So the ship has sailed. I'm no longer in the comment section. That is done and over with. That's my past. I'm no
That's
longer.
growth.
And
Mm,
if they're happy
that is growth.
and they want it, so be it. Have it. You can have the comment section. You can make 20,000 pages on Instagram about the comment section. I have a whole business out here with my name to it, with paperwork this time.
Hold on. Go back to that last comment from Mr. Chalaki, the long one. Go back to that. I ain't get to read it while it was up there. But go
Yeah,
ahead, Phyll.
what did you say?
He said, Mr. Chalaki said, that's what I want to know. I have so many opinions on season 4. It's interesting. I don't know who should stay, go, etc. So much to think about.
Let me say this. While I love being on while I love being on this show, I love it. I love Devontae. Even the banter between me and Trey, sometimes it gets a little fun. However, because of the changes that I've made, sometimes I don't know, and I'm a pray on it. I really have considered being a B-list caster, like a friend of the show,
Like Marlo?
like putting myself down to a friend of the show, like Nene leaving the show and coming back every now and then on there, and then leaving and then coming back and leaving, coming back. That's kind of how that's where I am right now. Because when you grow on certain things, you really clear your mind of certain things. I don't want to argue with Trey anymore. I want him to do the best that he can. I want him to be the best that he can be. I don't want to argue. I don't want to. If I'm messy, I'm messy, and let it be. I'm messy. Fine. I'll be messy. If I'm gossipy, I'm gossipy. Fine. Let me be gossipy. If that's what you see on season 3 right now, fine. But you need to know who Phyll the Prynce is now. You need to know who I am at this present moment. So that is what is making me ping pong and go back and forth between, do I go back to season 4 and what do I bring to the table, which I still got a lot to bring to the table because I got some new stuff that's coming out, or do I just, let you see me here and there and maybe let you in a little bit, not so much as I've been letting you in season 2 and season 3 about me.
Well, what I'll say, because I am a viewer, I am not on anybody's reality TV. But one thing that I do appreciate about the cast, about this season, because I did not watch On the Way Up seasons 1 and 2 until I binged on it while this season's been on. But one thing that we don't see a lot of in gay culture is the path to get to success. We don't see a lot of the process. And the fact that I can see you in your studio, I've seen Trey on stage, I've seen DJ perform everywhere from Atlanta to Athens. We have seen Mayday on tour with Beyonce of all people at Coachella. We have seen we've seen people in the grind of it. And that gives me, as someone who is also on the way up, not officially, I ain't got no peach or nothing, but as someone who is on the way up, it gives me, it allows me to know that I'm going in the right direction, that there are other people that are in the grind as I am in the grind, because being in the grind on the hustle can feel like it's just you sometimes. And this show allows all of us to be like, oh, there are other people that are hustling just like me. So maybe I should keep going.
Well, I don't know if you've been in cahoots with the producer to get a contract for next season, but you are. I mean,
No, no, I would be the worst reality star ever.
I don't know.
Cause I don't argue. I ask good questions, but I don't argue with anybody ever.
You do ask good questions, but I think that you will be more of the um don't take this the wrong way, rest in bitch face, nonchalant guy.
Oh yeah, I got arrested. I got a crazy. My face will tell the story, but you ain't never gonna get a rise out of me.
See? And I can appreciate that about you.
Ain't never gonna get no right. I wish a bitch would. You ain't got enough power over me to get me to act out of character in a restaurant. Fuck that.
One thing I can
But
one thing I can say about On the Way Up Atlanta though, it's not scripted. There's nothing that nobody's putting in our minds, like, go do this, go talk about this, go say this, and go do that. It's nothing like that. So the good thing about this show is it's very genuine and it's very clear. It's not something that we script or something that we wrote out or something that, the producer saying, go over here and do this. We're doing this off of like out of the dome. It's not something that we are, taught.
So hold on. This comment I gotta read. It says he looks like his Twitter would. I think it's supposed to say he looks like his Twitter would be fun. Yes, God. I don't know if he's talking about me or you.
I don't know, but my Twitter got hacked. So I
Hold
started.
on, you broke up. Your Twitter what?
One of my Twitters got hacked.
The freak Twitter?
Is there a difference between a freak Twitter and a black Twitter?
I mean, some people have. I got 2 different Twitters.
Do you?
I tell everybody, if you find me on Twitter and I'm naked, I'll be like, yeah, that's me. I ain't gonna run from it. But I ain't gonna. But I'm not gonna be like this. The handle. I got a dick on my shirt. Of course, I don't mind being naked.
I do put my feet out on Twitter, and it has gotten a lot of.
Because I've come to realize the people like some feet. I like feet, but not to that degree. But you will never see my feet anywhere on social media ever.
I'm a foot guy.
What does that mean? Like, you like other people's feet? You like your feet? You like feet on you? You like feet in you? Like, what does that mean?
I love my feet. But I also like I can admire someone who actually takes care of their feet and has pretty feet. Because that's something that we stand on all day. So if you're taking care of it, that means that you take care of everything else, because that's the last thing you think about, most of the people.
Cortez says, drop the names.
Follow my
Dear Black Gay Man.
Follow my Instagram.
I'm at Dear Black Gay Man everywhere, or at Jay the Gentleman. Again, if someone were to find my freak Twitter and be like, is this you? I would confirm it.
Oh, okay. So
I hear DJ got pretty feet.
I don't know.
I mean, he be wearing sandals all the time. I have seen his feet; they are pretty. His toes are very long.
I've seen more of DJ's nipples than I have of his feet. He's got a nice.
But he wears plunging necklines like every day. It was 30 degrees the other day in Georgia. I guarantee you, his nipples was out.
Leave my friend alone. DJ has done you no harm. Let him have his nipples out.
I don't mind his nipples. I respect his nipples. I appreciate them. But I know that they're gonna be out. They gonna be out. He don't mind showing. I interviewed him. He said he was a nudist. So of course he would have everything out if he could, I imagine.
Okay.
But that has been our time. Phyll the Prynce, you have been a great conversation. I appreciate you for clearing up some plot points and letting us know that you're a foot guy.
I appreciate you for having me.
Of course. So everybody go follow Phyll the Prynce on Instagram so you can see his feet. What size shoe you wear?
10.5.
Oh, they're normal size. Are you tall? I've never met you. Are you tall? How tall are you?
5'11".
Okay, your feet are bigger than. Your shoe size is bigger than mine. I got really fat feet, so I fill up my size 10s. I'm about to go put on some 10s right now. All right, that it's been a great show. That's Phyll the Prynce, episode 9. Woo!
Phyll the Prynce, episode 9.
All right, 2 weeks.